Good morning. Good morning. Ah. This morning, I'm speaking on meditation, and I'm speaking on the question, I'm answering the question, why meditate? Why meditate? And I chose this subject because we have been in retreat for the last 2.5 days. We've had such a powerful, incredible retreat of so much releasing and opening like flowers and transforming and deep self-reflection and really getting in touch with what's underneath, what sometimes covers our diamond shining light of consciousness. It's so beautiful when we take those layers of covering off and we see who we are at our core. That is so incredibly beautiful. So beautiful. Do you feel it this morning? I mean, there's a deeper resting in the presence, the Holy Spirit, the divine. There's a deeper resting when we practice together. So I really am so grateful for all of you that joined us in retreat. We'll have more for any of you who missed it this time. Yeah, we'll have more. Okay, so why meditate? I'm going to start with a little story. There were these two men walking down the street, Charlie and Sam, and they were chatting, and Charlie says to Sam, "How you doing?" And Sam says, "Oh, I'm good. How you doing, Charlie?" "Oh, I'm good. How's your son? Is he still unemployed?" And Sam says, "Yeah, he's unemployed, but he's been meditating. He's meditating now." And Charlie says, "Meditating? What's that?" He goes, "Oh, I don't know. I have no idea really, but it's better than sitting around doing nothing." And the thing is that meditating is something more than sitting around doing nothing. You know, you could actually say that if we sit and do nothing completely consciously, it's incredibly beneficial. It's incredibly beneficial to our state of consciousness and to our experience of life that we're having. I remember years ago, I had this insight that came while I was meditating. I was in a lot of silence. And then sometimes that's the beauty that you receive in meditation. You receive insight, and it's almost revelation because there's all this silence. And there's all this space between thoughts. And then when you have a thought, it's something more profound. And so this message came, think no thing, so I am calm. Know no thing, so I am calm. Know nothing. Know nothing, so I am calm. And really what that means is let go of all your knowing. Let go of everything you think you know. Let go of all the opinions and all the judgments and all the ideas and all the identities. Let it all go and know no thing, so I am calm. Does that make sense? Can you feel that? The truth of that. So the I am, be still and know I am. The I am is the no thing. The I am is the everything and the no thing, right? It's not any particular thing, it's all that is, which includes everything but is vastly beyond everything. So the I am before we add something to it, that's what we want to rest in. The I am before I am Kathy Zavada. The I am before I am a piano player, right? The I am before I'm this gender or that gender. The I am before I am what I do in my work, right? Just the I am. That's the essence of who we are. You've probably heard that wonderful Rumi poem that I love this poem. Rumi talks about resting in the nothingness when he writes, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there when the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full. The world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other, it doesn't even make any sense. Can you feel the truth that he was expressing in that? It's a deep state when you lie down in that grass, in that peace, in that nothingness, in that thinking nothing, in that mind becoming still. There's bliss, and there's a natural feeling of oneness. There's a natural feeling of oneness. So meditation ultimately can take us to that field, take us into that field. And that's the ultimate beauty of it. It can really dissolve the sense of otherness into just being as one, like we sing the oneness song, right? One heart, one mind, one life, united in divine. So we can use a metaphor for meditation. We can think of it as climbing up a mountain. I've lived at Mount Shasta 32 years. And you look at that mountain every day, and lots of people come there to summit that mountain. But if you're in town looking up, you have no idea what that expansive view, right, from the summit looks like, or like from Mount Talac, right, that expansive view of all of Lake Tahoe. So the only way to experience it is to climb it one step at a time, and there are multiple paths up the mountain. I've taken the easy path up Talac, and then I've walked up that scree. Don't ever want to do that again. But it's the same way with meditation. There are many paths. There are many kinds of meditation. And we all have different dispositions, so we want to find what works best for us. And I like to change it up. I love this loving kindness meditation because that really gets us into the heart. That gets us into compassion. And gosh, do you think our world needs a little more compassion? A lot more? Yeah. So I started meditating when I was 15. I think I was telling you in the retreat. Michael Singer suggested I should practice meditation, and I had no training, so I remember sitting on my bed, and I'd look in the mirror, and then I'd close my eyes, and I'd just see if I could not think. Okay, don't think for 15 minutes. Just don't think, And it was kind of tense, actually. And I really needed some teachings and some training, and fortunately I've had plenty of that since then. But I was earnest and I was determined, and here I am now. I'm much better at it. And it does take practice. It's a meditation practice. It's a skill we develop. There's this wonderful book, I mentioned it in my workshop, that is so great for meditation. And I mean, even for me, who I've meditated for years, Unity uses this book to teach the meditation class. It's called Meditation for Dummies. I'm not crazy about the title. Meditation for Geniuses. I like that better. But it's by Stephan Bodian, and it's just really put together well. It's very comprehensive, and I'm sharing a number of those practices today. But, there are so many reasons to meditate, and sometimes our reason is just that we have a lot of anxiety. These last 2 years with COVID and everything we've been through, I just think there's been more anxiety than I have ever seen. I've actually felt more in myself, and fortunately I know how to work with it, but still, and I've done a lot of counseling, there's just been a lot more anxiety. Have you seen that too? Yeah. So meditation is so good for reducing tension, reducing stress. And it also creates clear thinking. We were sharing yesterday, one of the fruits is that creativity comes. Because if you create a little more space between thoughts and you rest in the nothingness, then what comes are insights and guidance and creativity for what's next. And great creativity comes. I actually woke up the other morning with a song, and I still haven't sat down at the piano and written it, but I thought that was pretty neat. I don't usually get a whole song in my dream. I got a whole song. That's from all that meditation. And then there's also, there's all these wonderful reasons: our blood pressure, overcoming addictions, and gaining self-acceptance and self-reflection helps us understand our feelings more. We did a lot of that this weekend. Understanding our triggers, right? Understanding where we're not quite forgiving, right? That's causing a block in our heart, you know. Meditation just helps us see all this. And then it really, in the deepest level, it really helps us experience oneness with the divine, you know. The masters, Jesus, I mean, he talked about the kingdom of heaven is within. Seek the kingdom of God within, right? He didn't say look everywhere else in the outer world for happiness, did he? It's within. It's within. And, you know, I would say that over the years that I've meditated, I've become more peaceful. I've become less reactive. I have a lot more capacity to not be triggered, right? And I have a lot more self-compassion and compassion for other people. I have a lot more patience. But, you know, I think I've told some of you, when I lived at Brighton Bush Hot Springs in 1991, I had a big awakening, and that was Samadhi. It's a Sanskrit word for merging with God consciousness, Christ consciousness, Buddha nature. There's so many names for it. But in that, you go from concentration to meditation, and then you drop into stillness, and then there is a stillness that is ecstasy. It is bliss beyond bliss beyond bliss. And that is what all the masters say is available for you. And seek that and find that. You know, because we chase the tinsel in this world. But there's this gold. There's this gold. And that gold is within. It's within us. Yeah, it's kind of like that song, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. Do you remember that? How's it go? Looking for love in all the wrong places. We won't sing that here. But it really is, it's strange how much time we spend looking for peace outside, you know, and looking for contentment outside and joy outside and love outside. When if we gave that same amount of time to the inner work, that same amount of time to turning within and shifting to focus on our inner landscape, we could learn to be at peace with whatever happens on the outer. And wouldn't that be the best possibility? That you have an equanimity and you're always at peace, right? And so when circumstances are good, you're good. When they're bad, you're good, right? That's possible. That's possible. It reminds me, though, of a story that Gangaji used to tell about this master thief. This master thief was so good at stealing, right? Just could steal anything and stole all these jewels. And so he heard about this diamond, the greatest, rarest, most beautiful diamond. It was going to be sold in this town. So he went to the town. He figured that's a really good time to steal this diamond, right? So he tried for 3 days. This new owner came, and the new owner got the diamond. And this thief, he tried to find that diamond and get that diamond. He couldn't get it. And after 3 days, he just gave up. And he walked right up to the new owner. He said, "How'd you do it? You know, I'm the master thief. You know, how in the world did you hide that diamond so that I wouldn't find it?" And the man, the wise man, with a twinkle in his eye said, "Well, I hid it where I knew you would never look for it." And he said, Where's that? Where's that? In your own pocket. In your own pocket. It's like the musk deer. You know the musk deer? The story in India, there are musk deer, and there's a scent they emit, and they look everywhere for the scent, and it's coming from their belly. So it's a really good teaching of the fact that our inner essence is this shining diamond, sparkling light, and that what covers that, why we don't feel it, it's kind of like this gray blanket that gets dusty blanket that gets thrown over that light, and that's thoughts and judgments and opinions and criticism and holding on to resentment and getting stuck in a story of what's wrong, right? You know that story? Anybody? Yeah, we sometimes, our mind has this story of what's wrong that happened in the past, and that's why we can't be happy. Or what's wrong that might happen in the future, and that's why we can't relax, right? Or sometimes what's wrong right now in this moment. I don't like what's happening here. And what we can do with that is we can let go of the past and future, and whatever's happening here, we can allow it, we can accept it, and then we can change it possibly. But to resist it adds suffering on top of suffering, right? You all know this. I know I'm preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to myself too, because we're growing, and I think we need to be reminded of these things often. So mindfulness is where we just learn to observe. This is what we did all weekend. We observed moment to moment what's happening inside, right? What's happening in our mind, what's happening in our emotions, what's happening in our body. And when we can step into the observer, then we're no longer completely stuck in our mind or stuck in our emotions or stuck in our body. I think of it this way sometimes, like say you run a kindergarten and you have 15 students, right? And so the students come and you welcome them and you take care of them and you give them projects and you keep them at peace and they're content and you take good care of them, right? Well, what if when they all arrived, you just put earplugs in and put a blindfold on and got in the closet, right? That would be incredibly unmindful, wouldn't it? And that's, we can think of our mind and emotions like those children. They need to be attended to, and we need to be mindful of them and learn how to take care of them and to train them, to train the mind. So, the mind sometimes will get stuck in a story, and it'll tell a story of why we should stay angry or stay resentful, or what was unjust about what happened. And so mindfulness is that loving awareness that comes in and says, "Okay, mind, I hear you, and I hear that you're upset, and now we're going to breathe. We're going to rest in the peace of our being." And we're going to see, once we rest in this peace of our being and shift our state, we're going to see what the solution is. And maybe the solution is a really creative one, or maybe it's just let go and let God, right? So I was reading that the National Science Foundation said that the average person has 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. 60,000 thoughts a day. And 80% are negative thoughts. That's amazing. And 95% are repetitive thoughts. And see, that's why when we create space between the thoughts, we have more space between thoughts, there's a chance for it to not be repetitive and not be negative. In fact, it can be more revelatory. No thing, so I am calm. The mystery, the mystics, that's what we want to taste more of, right? So I'd like to just share some of my favorite meditations, and we did the breath this morning. I just kind of combined focusing on the breath. Sometimes it helps to count. Sometimes it helps to add a mantra to the breath. I like to breathe in Ma and exhale Om. That's a beautiful meditation. We were practicing this weekend. Another simple meditation is focusing on a mantra like Om Namah Shivaya. That's one of the most beloved Hindu Sanskrit mantras. The Buddhists love Om Mani Padme Hum. You could choose whatever words you want. You could breathe in I am and breathe out love. This is just a simple meditation. Another meditation is practicing just being mindful and aware of whatever's happening. And you just notice it. Like yesterday we had the windows wide open, and I was noticing there's a lot of traffic on Saturdays out there, and I was just letting it be. And I would notice my mind wanted to suggest closing the window. And then I just noticed that, and I just brought it back to awareness without an opinion, right? But I'll tell you, I had a more challenging time. I was in Ashland last week, and I was staying at Callahan's, which is right on the summit on I-5. And at night, I was meditating, and there's all these frogs in the woods there. And I was loving that sound. I was just like being with the sound of the frogs. But then every now and then, you'd hear the semi, you know how loud they are, and the gears are shifting. And so I was struggling with allowing that. So I turned my meditation from just, awareness of everything, just observing everything, to concentration. And that's when you place your attention on just the frogs. And you can keep your attention on just the frogs. And that ability to concentrate it helps you play much better piano. It's important when you're rock climbing, right? It's great when you're skiing. I mean, it's really good for everything to develop your concentration. Our world is so, we have a lot of attention deficit. So meditation helps us develop concentration so we can keep our mind on something. As I mentioned, this loving kindness meditation is one of my favorite, and extending it out to the world. And the another one we didn't really do this weekend is visualizing a peaceful place, a place you love. There's a place in Mount Shasta, my favorite place. I want my ashes there. It's called Cliff Lake. My dad's ashes are in Cliff Lake. And it's this highland lake. And did you guys come with me when we floated on rafts? Martin, were you guys there for that? I took one retreat there, and I had them float on rafts. Were you there for that? And we all floated on rafts, and I just had everybody just don't paddle. Just allow yourself to feel total surrender. And the lake, fortunately, was not the size of Lake Tahoe. It was just the right size. And, I mean, people just talk to me about that to this day, that, wow, I just didn't even know what it felt like to surrender. But floating on a raft on a lake, and you just let the wind take you, and you just float, it's incredibly peaceful. So when I think of a peaceful place, it's always Cliff Lake. But, have a place that's like your favorite happy place. Like our hike yesterday to Fallen Leaves, that was incredibly beautiful. I was actually thinking of that last night, laying in bed. So we just, when we're feeling anxiety, when we're feeling tension, just take a few moments to close our eyes and go there. And what you will do is you'll bring the experience of that to the present moment. You bring the peace of that to the present moment. Another meditative practice is sitting and gazing at a picture of your spiritual teacher. If it's Jesus, if it's the Buddha, if it's the Divine Mother. That's I have pictures of all three of those in my house, and I look at them every day. And it just reminds me I have support. I also have a lot of angels. I don't know, people have given me angels all my life, and, well, before the fire. A lot of the angels burned, but but they're with me. They're around me. And so, yeah, remembering we have holy beings. We have a lot of unseen divine support. Remembering that too. So last thing I want to mention is walking meditation, which is my personal favorite. It's what I do every day. If I don't do anything else, I walk and I turn it into meditation. I give myself 15 minutes to think and process the day, and then I'm present. I'm just present with what is. And it was so beautiful to walk yesterday with all of you in silence. Isn't that wonderful? I think sometimes we go on a walk with a friend, we think we have to talk. But hey, what about just being quiet together and being mindful together and enjoying that? I know that this world isn't used to silence. It's a shame, really. But we can create more. We can be the ones. So in closing, I just hope that this review inspires you and gives you wonderful reasons to meditate more, or deepen your meditation, or revisit, or try a new one, but to really commit to it, because I really think it is one of the most important things that we can do to transform our world, to bring, let there be peace on earth, to bring that peace, is for us to meditate and for us to bring more of the loving awareness, more of that light of consciousness to mix in with all the mind stuff, all the mind stuff. I think if you were out like looking at the planet, you would just see, wow, that's a thick cloud of mind stuff, you know? That's a lot of people thinking, you know? And it's funny how the mind is. It's like, oh, come on, let's just binge Netflix instead of meditate, right? You know, it's so easy. The mind is so ready to talk you out of getting rid of the mind, taking a break from the mind, transcending the mind. And I do want to mention that point, Karen, that you reminded us of is when thoughts come during meditation, you're not doing it wrong. It's actually stress being released. So we don't want to judge our meditation practice. We don't want to beat ourselves up for it. We allow those thoughts to come, but we allow them to go. And the more skillful we get, the more we let them go quicker. It's like sometimes in the beginning the cloud's passing really slow and it's a rain cloud and it's right here. But later on, it just breezes by, right? So, yeah, meditation is power. It makes us better at whatever we do and whatever we want to do. It helps us in relating to family, to our loved ones. It helps us let go of stuff more easily. We did a lot of that this weekend. I think that's part of why there's so much Shakti here this morning. And it really enables us to live life more fully in the present and more joyfully. So my prayer is that we meditate and we benefit from it, and that we fully, each one of us, fully realize that diamond light of our true nature. You know, what's under the blanket of thoughts and distractions, and that we really realize what all the masters said, seek and find. Find the gold. Find the gold. Don't be distracted by the tinsel. Find the gold. Find your true self. All right. Thank you. God bless.